Reading and reviewing indie books has become a passion of mine over many years, and has helped me get through the many challenges that life can present. To me, there is nothing better than the escapism, the immersion, and even the magic that reading can be. As an indie author myself, I know the challenges and difficulties of finding book reviews, and so just like my dedication to writing, here I am doing my best to support words by fellow authors. Welcome to Talking Indie Books with Lee Hall, an opportunity for me to showcase some wonderful indie books I've been reading. For this episode, I will be talking about an awesome indie book I've read and enjoyed quite recently. But first of all, I would like to just say thank you to those who tuned in to my two-part Indie April special episodes. In particular, the second part of my Indie April celebration has become one of my most viewed videos of all time. It gives me a great sense of satisfaction to tell others about the wonderful indie books that are out there, and as soon as I was done with my most recent indie read, I felt compelled to do that. And so here I am, talking about Hoodwink's Folly by Hugh Langridge. Having discovered this title on Twitter, this is my second Hugh Langridge experience, as I previously read and reviewed and enjoyed The Tolworth Beacon. Again, we are treated to a British tale of mystery and immersion. I say immersion because Hoodwink's Folly had me hooked big time, and hooked to the point where I read this in just a few sittings. With a combination of 80s childhood nostalgia, mystery, and a haunting atmosphere, this one really hits all the right notes, and is definitely a potential read of the year for me. This book really succeeds at delivering the 80s childhood experience, which, compared to these days, feels a little different, but to me, rather familiar and nostalgic, as I grew up in the 90s and experienced similar things, from the school life to simply hanging out and playing board games. The story centers around two brothers, Andrew and Mark, and the younger of the brothers becomes addicted to a new fantasy-style board game, which shares the namesake of this book, Hoodwink's Folly. His obsession becomes deeper and somewhat darker, as the childhood segment of the book is only really the opening and the beginning, as the story runs the course of many years and spans the lifetime of these characters, and burning in the background is the effect this game had on these brothers. There's a few twists along the way and a few reveals, and it even becomes quite dark in places. From the concept of mind control to even quantum physics, which then flows towards something called remote viewing. The plot eventually moves towards unexpected places, while also providing answers that emerge from an unexpected place. To quote my recent written review, "This is a tale of mystery and eventual tragedy, with some clever moments that make for great twists and an immersive reading experience." While much of the reveals later on are fantastical and fictional, they are also delivered alongside a rational type of science, with references to the concepts of remote viewing and quantum physics. Andrew narrates the story, and it follows his life over many years, and the many questions all caused by a board game with something sinister lurking within. We see the sights of nostalgia through the years in which the story is told, and that is just one element of a well-plotted outing by Hugh Langridge. And so, my favourite quote from Hoodwink's Folly was this: "A game can't do those things, surely, but perhaps addiction and obsession can. Those things can invade your psyche and mess up the way you see the world." My rating for Hoodwink's Folly was 5 stars, and you can find my written review linked below. And so, that wraps up this episode of Talking Indie Books with Lee Hall. Indie authors are very much like small businesses and rely on the kind support of others to find more readers, so any support you can give an indie author will be very much appreciated. I'd like to thank you for joining me on this journey, and of course, if you're reading something right now, remember to leave a review. Peace out, rock and roll, and reading indie books.